Welcome to Discovering. Behind me, Lake Gogebic is looking a little bit quiet, but just a couple days ago, it was covered in people out ice fishing. I was also out on the ice with a group of fishermen for a morning of walleye fishing.
You can be really effective out here fishing along these weed beds.
And Michigan has a new state grain.
So sit back and relax. It's Monday night and it's time for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone, forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak, surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields, call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill, the eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
Lake Gogebic on the western end of the UP is known for two fish, walleye and yellow perch, or yellow perch and walleye, whichever you prefer over the other. We've been covering the perch bite pretty heavily the last few winters on Discovering, so I figured it was time to revisit the walleye ice fishery here. And because I've heard the walleye bite has been pretty good so far on Gogebic this winter.
Our second early ice going on right now. We had some good ice for a few days, a week or so, and then during Christmas it rained for a few days. Kind of ruined the shoreline ice, and now it's back to good ice again for the second time. So we have a little bit of an extended walleye run, I would say.
Yeah.
I'm out on the ice with a group of familiar faces to Lake Gogebic. Ice fishing guide Justin Soffa agreed to take me out here even though it was his day off.
Looks like we're about 9 feet deep right here. We gotta play pick a winner. We got our winner. I use a number 10 treble, and I like to hook them just underneath the dorsal fin. So that walleye comes in and grabs it by the head, it'll get the hook in a good spot. I like to set her about 2 feet off the bottom, 2 to 3 feet. So when the flag comes up, lights will turn on. We'll be able to see if it's spinning. Then we'll know if the fish is on there.
Drill and repeat. 3 lines in the water per person is what you are allowed. Justin gathered a crew of his guides and avid anglers to join us for the morning, and the more tip-ups out, the more minnows dangling in the water, the more chances to yell flag.
We got a flag. Oh, sweet. Is that the spinny kind or just a regular flag?
Dumped it.
Did he dump it?
We started off the morning with a few drops. The fish know the camera is out here and spit the bait out.
Another drop.
Got him?
Yep. Well, first walleye of the day. Not a terrible one. Looks like a good eater.
once the first flag went off, they didn't stop.
He's on there. Oh yeah. Oh dang. That's a pretty Lake Gogebic walleye right there. It's got to be about 14 and a half inches. Next year that'll be a real nice one. Oh. Let's go get our other flakes.
Boy, he feels like a dinker.
That was right.
Hey, they gotta start somewhere, right?
That's right.
Not spinning.
Yep. Doesn't feel very big. Not bad.
Nice one.
Big enough.
Looks like it's got fillets on each side.
Yeah.
Got it?
It made her.
He's 15 and a half.
Every angler has their own technique for when to pick up the tip up and how to set that hook.
He's chewing it right now.
You hear him smacking his cheeks?
Yep.
So is it best to wait then when it's...
It depends. I don't know.
I'm not much of a waiter. I let her rip.
My grandpa always said to let them go until they start spinning again. That means they got it. But
Definitely on there.
maybe. I think he dumped it. There are a lot of perch and stuff in the bay right now too that like to grab them and take them a little bit and dump them.
The fish kept us on our toes. For every fish landed topside, we had one drop the bait.
Got him?
No, man. He's in the weeds.
Oh, I ripped it right off.
Got him?
Yep. Doesn't feel too big, but make him look real big.
Got him?
Yep. Oh, I had him. No, I do still have him. Bonus fish, yeah.
That's what the lake is known for. Those guys. Walleyes are a bonus. Perch are where it's at.
Like I mentioned, you're either a perch or a walleye angler out here.
Well, I mainly fish perch, but I will fish walleye in the early season and the late season. But perch are where my heart is.
Walleyes. But like Mikey was saying, it's best time out here is first ice and last ice to get them because they're all stacked in the weed beds. But then I help Justin guide all year for perch too, so I don't really care to catch it myself.
Got a little bit of weight. Another good eating size right there. My opinion, those 15 to 17s. Oh no! He almost gave us the middle fin and said, "I'm out of here." Talking about eating size, he's like, "I don't think so, bub. We'll save him for later. Take him out to dinner." We're kind of in that low light area where these flags are just kind of popping pretty consistently. Once you get later into the morning, you start getting more pike and perch move in, and typical walleye fishing, that low light is kind of where it's at. You'd say that half hour, 45 minutes before sunset, and then maybe half hour after dark is like the prime time. But this year there was a lot of after dark bites.
7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
9
7,
o'clock.
8 o'clock at night. So it kind of paid to stay out because that bite window was kind of pushed out a little bit this year. First time I've seen that in the years I've been walleye fishing. This year it's been the after dark special.
Yeah.
We came in, we saw fish on the graph, I started jigging a little bit, and he came in and he Could hear him, almost hear him smacking his cheeks when he was down there. So we grabbed a rod and jigged it a couple times, and he came up and said, "That's fine." Exit stage up.
Outside the hub, the flags were still flying.
That one?
Oh yeah. Leader. Second one, it didn't drop it on me. The bite's actually like on its last leg here on the bay. When you start getting into January part, those walleyes start pushing out into the lake more. But this year with the second ice, they're still in here, so.
You can be really effective out here fishing along these weed beds. These walleyes are just cruising in and out of them looking for bait fish. I always like to pull line and give them slack. People do it a lot different. Everybody does, but it's all trial and error. Got him on, oh yeah. Oh, he's coming. Perch. A couple years, that'll be a real dandy. It's always a bonus fish when you're catching walleye, catching perch at the same time. Pretty much early season, you can catch them up in the shallower water, and late season, but it could be just me, but middle of the year, it seems like they more move out of the shallow water into the deeper stuff, because it's February comes and it turns into a lull. Could be me though, who knows?
Even 2 days ago when we were out perch fishing, we were catching some pretty nice walleyes. We had a 18 and a 20 incher while we were perch fishing, so they kind of cruise around in the same waters this time of year, because the perch are the same way, you know, early in the year like this, early ice, they're still hanging around the weeds. We'll catch them on tip-ups. A lot of them will go and just knock the flag off just to make us, you know, get our steps in for the day.
Yeah.
And when the walleyes move out into that deeper water, it's anybody's guess where they go.
The main thing with this lake is there's no structure in the main part of the lake. It's just one really big basin. It's 14,000 acres, and probably 12,000 of those acres is a mud flat.
Yeah.
So it's just...
It's a guessing game wherever you're at.
Once they
We
go
got
out...
a flag up over there, by the way. I hate to interrupt you, but...
Yep, we got
over
another flag. They're still popping. Could be a perch, could be a walleye. We'll have to go check. Doesn't feel like a monster, but... Oh, now he's getting heavier. He's almost 16 inches. Where we're fishing, probably that 15 to 16 is pretty common. There are some big ones in here, though. You had a 26
and a quarter. I caught a 26 and a quarter the first part of December. A couple higher 20s, 22, 23s.
Last year we know 3 different ones that were 32, 33 inches. So there are some real trophy walleyes in here. They're kind of on the rebound right now. There was a few years where they were really tough to catch. There were a lot of shorts. I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah. The bite got really tough. We started noticing while we were perch fishing, we were catching more like 4, 5, 6 inch walleyes, so there was a good spawning year. The problem they had, there were several years in a row where the ice went out right before the walleye opener, which is bad news if you're a spawning walleye. You're real easy to catch and you're on the shoreline, so we've had a couple of good years back to back. Like I said, we started seeing those 5, 6, 7 inches, then the following year we're getting a bunch of 10, 11, 12 inches, and now a couple years later we're starting to see a lot of more of those 14, 15, 16 inch fish.
Now we're back to our 5 over 15, so we're our 13 to 14s that we used to catch, we're growing them now a little bit bigger. They're getting a break. So I'd say in the next 3 to 5 years, the walleye fishing should be fairly decent if the weather holds out for them.
Nice. There we go. Oh. Tom coming through on the clutch. Look at that hook job, right in the beak.
Perfect hook set.
Right in the snoot.
Oh, that one's gonna pose nicely, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Fitting you real nice.
We had consistent action until 10:30. We finished the morning with 12 walleye, 8 of them legal, 3 perch, and 1 crappie. Not a bad way to start a Saturday. Thanks guys for spending the morning with me. After fishing, I stopped in the Timbers Resort in Bergland to visit Tim Long in his bait shop, buy a few things, and get the ice and fishing report.
We've been fishing for probably about 4 weeks already. We had some warm weather, we had some rain, kind of deteriorated our shoreline for a little while. Guys were still getting out there, and now it's firmed back up. The bay out in front of our place, we have like 6 inches of ice, and then out towards Porcupine Point, about 9 inches of ice. I always suggest that everyone check as they go. Don't think that everything is safe just because you see someone else out there. They are starting to get out there on snowmobiles and four-wheelers. Side-by-sides, I would not suggest that at this point. Typically speaking, always a snowmobile is the best method of transportation. And that's usually because of the amount of snow that we get up here. Fishing has been good reports. The perch fishing has been good. The walleye fishing has been good and steady. Obviously with the walleyes, you want to go under low light conditions, your early mornings or your evenings, and then the perching during the day. We have this tackle store open for like the last 5-6 years now, and it does well, and everything we have in here works for catching fish on Lake Gogebic. We have sucker minnows, and we have toughy fatheads down here. The toughy fatheads work good for jigging for walleye. They'll work good with a tip up in the weeds here on the north end in the bay for perch as well. Waxworms and wigglers in the garage. So we have quite a variety of terminal tackle and jigging spoons, jigs, tip ups, rod holders, reels, rod combos. What else we got? We got some knockoffs of the jaw jacker, minnow buckets, heaters, and now this year we're carrying these new Norfin boots. They're super light. They're good for -40. The cleats flip over. So you got some traction out there. You're gonna come in the house, flip them over, and mom won't be mad at you. But we're open from 8 to 8. If you want to come in earlier in the morning, give us a call. We'll make arrangements with you to be open at 6:30 or 7 or whenever you want to come in.
Michigan now has an official state native grain, one of cultural importance to indigenous people. Manoomin, the Anishinaabe word for wild rice, is an ancient species of grain-producing grass native to the Great Lakes area.
It is one of those indicators in our migration from the East Coast. It was an indicator that we would find our new home. And it's been a staple food for us ever since our migration. And so we honor it, and it actually is now part of our identity, very much like our language.
On November 29th of 2023, Governor Whitmer signed into law HB 4852, making Manoomin the official Michigan state native grain, which takes effect in February of this year. Roger LaBine was at that historic bill signing.
Very emotional day for me to get that after almost 2 decades of fighting for it.
Roger started advocating and fighting for protection of wild rice in Michigan 20 years ago when the tribe started restoration efforts on Lac Vieux Desert in 2003. And since the wild rice had no protection, the tribe couldn't prosecute people who maliciously destroyed the rice beds they were trying to restore.
And when they were doing that vandalism and destroying it, that was when I said we need to get a status for wild rice to protect it, because it's very important to my tribe, to my spirituality, to my culture, to our traditions. When I sat down with the governor, I thanked her for basically signing the permit to allow the Michigan Wild Rice Initiative to move forward and make recommendations for the regulations. And the Michigan Wild Rice Initiative is, before the bill was signed, we were doing what we call a stewardship document. It's a stewardship plan where the tribes and the state and federal agencies are going to be working together to accomplish getting that status and doing all that, and what some of the things that we needed to do, whether it be harvesting regulations, whether it be restoration efforts. And The bill kind of fell in line is because the stewardship plan is going to be ready for disbursement and presenting to the general public. And there's going to be regulations that are going to be proposed. Again, the tribes have their own regulations. They do have their own conservation codes. So anything that's going to be proposed would be for the general public. And it is not going to prohibit the general public from harvesting wild rice. It would give them direction on how to harvest wild rice respectfully and in a good way.
You can hear more of Roger's interview on my website, discovertheup.com. That's all for tonight, and I hope to see you right back here next week for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.